Welcome to PaintInspections.com. My name is Donald Powers. My son is Corey Powers. We've been inspecting for well over 33 years, with myself 25, Corey is 8, and I am also a German painter, Red Seal, SSPC C1 certification.
Hi everyone, I'm Corey Powers. I've been in the painting industry for over 25 years. I started out when I was in high school painting fences. I am now an accredited MPI inspector and a journeyman painter.
Our experience in the construction industry takes into very, very many projects.
Projects that we have been involved in are the Calgary Airport, Foothills Hospital, YMCA Seaton, CBA schools, Calgary Catholic schools, fire halls, and rec centers.
Today we're going to go a little bit over the MPI and what has changed over the years. And then from here we're going to take you to a job site that we've been authorized to come on by Barjack and the owner, Big Four Motors. And then once we've gone through the site showing what we do, what we look for, recommendations, measurements that we take, right from the bare drywall to the doors and frames and the steel, and some deficiencies that we do find on most job sites. So to start, I'm going to start with the MPI. Of course, everybody knows about the MPI. The MPI was founded in 1995 in Vancouver, BC. From there, it was acquired by NACE in 2017, which of course a lot of people don't know, so that I don't believe that you people, you architects, don't know. From there, in 2019, there were some changes made to the specifications. And then in 2019, NACE and the SSPC, Structural Steel and Protective Coatings, merged with the two organizations. From there, in 2019, also came the acquisition of the MPI. The new merger with the the new merger with NACE and SSPC has now come up with a name change. The new name is AMP, AMPP. And then from now, going forward, the MPI now is an arm of AMP. So from there, now we will take you to the site and show you our inspection process.
We are here at a Barjack construction site. They are building a new Big Four Motors dealership, and we'd like to take you inside and show you how we do a paint inspection.
Okay, we're in a corridor. This corridor is going to have dark colors. And also, because it's an eggshell, and with the dark colors, we're required to have a level 5 finish. It's very important to have a level 5 finish when we have critical lighting coming through the windows, both into the hallway, which will accent the drywall joints. With the drywall finish, level 5, it will level this all out. And the same as the cathedral ceilings, we do a 4-coat system. 2 prime, so the first prime goes on, drywall will come through, do its touch-ups, and then the painter will come through and reprime the walls again. And then 2 coats of finish. This is a drywall touch-up after the first prime. And what we do, that's one step further,
is once the drywallers have gone through and done their touch-ups, we will come through with our light and recheck the surface for any defects that the drywaller may have missed before the double prime comes in. We look at the inside corners, we look at the walls. You want to wash the wall. We wash the wall completely because that's the way the drywallers do. They check light. These walls are looking pretty good, but as you can see here, these screw dimples need to be touched up. So they've missed that. So we'll identify that. Okay, and all these little drips that's coming from the painter. We also look through here, look at the drywall joints. Inside corners. The biggest thing with inside corners that nobody realizes is that a factory butt joint goes against a cut butt joint, which then creates what we call hat banding. Hat banding occurs, and then when the painter puts his coating on, it looks like it's picture framing, which actually is not the painter's responsibility. It's not his error. The error started with the drywall finishing. These corners right now are nice and smooth. Of course, the walls will be all sanded before the painters get putting their finish coats on. Then once the painter comes in to do his second prime, he will prime that whole complete wall. There will be no spot priming. That way it's level and even throughout. And we've been promoting this for some time, but Bar-Jac is very conducive to providing this finish for the customer because Bar-Jac is into quality. Okay, as I was talking earlier down on the other lower levels about the drywall finishing and the concern with the inside corners with the beveled edges, as you can see here, unfortunately we have a shadow, but this is called hat banding. This is where the wall dips in and it can be construed as a paint finish that's not acceptable. And that's incorrect. The drywaller has to come in and properly fill this area so that we have a true to plane finish. Starting off, the door frames throughout the building are what we call a zinc wipe coat. They've already been factory primed with a zinc to protect the steel from rusting out. But still, the painter has to sand these out, put a coat of bonding primer on, and then 2 finished coats. We also look at the door frames because sometimes the manufacturer, of course, will highlight the corners, may not see it, but sometimes there are grinding marks on the 45s, which we don't see here, but there will be some. Those 45s have to be prepped out by the GC or the manufacturer to make sure that the frame is true to plane. Also, these are pressed door frames. When they are putting against drywall, a pressed door frame is usually tight against the drywall. That way it doesn't require caulking. But when it's a gap like what you see here, responsibility is up to the GC to actually make sure that these are caulked. Everything has to be made paint ready throughout a job site. Okay, what we're looking at, I want to show you another steel frame that's been loaded with concrete. It's got some rusting on it, some damages. This will all need to be prepped out prior to the paint putting any finishes. This responsibility will be on the general contractor to make sure it's paint ready. We're now going to take you into the shop area and show you some more steel that's going to be coated out, and that's on the Q-deck ceilings. Okay, we are now in the service drive-through bay, and what we're going to show you here is the steel on the ceilings. The steeling is a Q-deck finish with a zinc white coat galvalume steel and with I-beam steel that have all been factory primed. Now, because the steel has been factory primed over a longer period of time, which is more than 28 days, the factory prime becomes hard. Therefore, it has to be scuff sanded, reprimed, and then recoated. All the rust you see along the I-beam has to be removed before it is primed again. It's very important. Otherwise, if you don't prime and seal the rusted areas, they will create what we call a bleed through, and that will show up on the finish coats. The Q-deck sealing will be coated with dry fall paint, which when it applied and dries, it dries within 10 feet of the floor. So we don't have any concerns about the floor, and it can be swept up. The other thing on the ceiling is the plenums. The plenums are galvanized. They have been coated with an oil-type finish to protect them from what we call white rusting. So, before the painter can paint these, it's important that he solvent wipes these down to remove all that residue before prime and paint. Okay, now we're in the tool area, and in this area we're showing you some block. We would like to have some block filler on this walls, but it's not occurred yet, so we're just going to take you through the step process. On these block walls, you will see all this white forming powder. It's actually alkalinity salts, which we call efflorescence. This efflorescence has to be removed prior to the primer application. The way to remove this efflorescence is to wire brush it off. Then the painter will come in. He will start to use block fill. Block fill really likes the alkalinity. It will prevent the alkalinity from bleeding through to the finish coats. When they put the block filler on, we have a few things that we look at. We look at no graying behind the block, behind the filler, and the filler has to be white and no pinholes. That's very important. And then the finish coats are applied after. If you don't remove the efflorescence, it will bleed through your finish coats, and your finish coats will fail. The paint will come off. It may not come off today, but it will come off. And then you have an issue to try and repair all this. So we have to catch that in the beginning with the right application of primer and the right finishes. What you see here in the corridor, it looks like ghosting on the walls on the intermediate coat. This is created by the swirling of the spray gun when they're spraying their first finish on. You can see it up there in the lighting. This actually should be back rolled properly after each spray application to make it more uniform. In this room here, we're going to show you a deficiency called holidaying. Holidaying occurs when insufficient product has not been applied. On this room, we have what we call the intermediate coat. The intermediate coat should be applied the same as the finish coat. And this intermediate coat was sprayed, but not properly back-rolled, and it creates what we can see almost a primer underneath on both edges, up top, down here, and then this whole room has got holidaying. So the idea is to prevent this is to apply it the same as the top finish coat. What you're looking at here is what we call paint spatter created by the spray gun. The tip was either blown or the painter was trying to clean out his tip and end up putting a whole bunch of paint into the surface. This will now have to be sanded out completely. Okay, what we have here in the showroom, we want to show you is the architectural steel. This steel is being actually prepped out by the GC, but normally it gets missed. and the painter ends up painting over all the mill scale, and it just looks ugly. Architectural steel like this that's being visualized by the public should be an AESS 4, which means it should have very little to zero perfections from the ground to 20 feet up, 20 feet high. The only thing that we see on this steel in this project, it's already been prepped except for the markings on the steel. These are indelible ink, which put on by probably the magic marker, which will bleed through the paint coating. These have to be removed or sealed out so that they don't penetrate through the coating. So what we're going to show you here is we do spot check the walls to make sure the thickness of the coating is proper and the number of coats have been applied. And this wall should have 3 coats of finish, 2 primer, 1 top coat. Each finish should have approximately 1.2 to 1.4 mils of thickness per coat. So Corey's going to do this with what we call an ultrasounder, which will penetrate the coatings and bounce back with the correct thickness. Go ahead, Corey. That's better. We're going to just show you what we test on the door frames, on the metal door frames. This door frame has a coat of primer, which should read anywhere between 0.5 mils to 1.2. .5.
Welcome back to the boardroom, where we're doing our presentation. And now we're going to go over with the specifications by the MPI to show some changes and some recommendations that we may have on here as well. Starting with, you want to scroll up? Quality assurance. The other part of the specs now is under the guarantee, 1.14 of the guarantee. The guarantee is no longer available at this present time from the MPI. It is the responsibility of the painter contractor to furnish a 100% 2-year maintenance bond in accordance with the MPI painting manual requirements. The maintenance bond shall warrant that all painting work has been performed in accordance with the MPI painting manual. Item 2, all painting and decorating work shall be in accordance with the MPI painting manual and shall be inspected by a qualified inspector. The cost for this inspections and to the maintenance bond shall be included in the base price of the painter's quote. This is the changes that's happening. Ourselves, we can provide a 2-year guarantee because we carry errors and emissions insurance to satisfy the owner that the inspection process is proven that the completion of the painting has been done in a professional manner and as per the MPI standards and guidelines. Under the specifications under quality assurance, only qualified journeyman persons as defined by the local jurisdiction shall be engaged in the painting and decorating work. Apprentices may be employed provided they work under the direct supervision. There is a concern with this because over 90% of the painters on site are not journeymen and have little to no experience. We would like to see in the spec under quality assurance that if there's no journeyman available, that the painters on site must produce 5 years experience in both the commercial and residential painting. Under point 5, it states all paint and decorating work shall be inspected by a paint inspection agency. What we would like to see in there is that it should be inspected by an independent paint inspection agency. Same with point 6, all surface required painting shall be inspected by the paint inspection agency, who shall notify the consultant and general contractor. This area there's no concern on it. On 2.1 materials, point 5, where indoor air quality odor is an issue, use only MPI listed materials having a minimum E2, E3 rating. This now has become an issue with us specifically. We have found in the specs that in all the schools and hospitals, any areas where there's human contact or present, an epoxy polyurethane is being used on all metals and block. The polyurethanes are epoxies, usually 2-component, some are single, but they give off high volatile organic compounds, up to 450 plus milligrams per gallon. It's carcinogenic because there's a lot of stuff in the makeup, from Varsol, toluene, xylene, and this is what gives a strong odor and creates the problems. This product that's been specified to be used in this area is not acceptable in schools or hospitals, because the product makeup under the MSDS sheets states that the polyurethane are meant for industrial use only. Under section 2.5 of the gloss sheen ratings, we've highlighted these ratings because they are a higher sheen and can show deficiencies within the drywall, such as all the joints. We recommend to produce a level 5 finish, which seals the drywall from joint to joint, giving a lot more level finish, showing less imperfections. We do know that there is a cost associated with this, and so to alleviate some of the cost, we've also recommend a double prime in areas where there is no critical lighting. And with the regular operational lighting, you will not see imperfections in the drywall, such as the joints. So anywhere that there is critical lighting on cathedral ceilings, high cathedral walls, corridors, and stairwells, that a level 5 drywall finish be completed. We understand that it's up to the owner of the project to approve this, but it's important that the owner understands what type of finish he's going to get. Another part of the inspection is to have us involved with the spec writing and the owner and the architects to help them decide what products they need to use.
We recommend being included early on in your project for the material selection process. This is so that we can advise the best materials for whatever substrate it needs to be applied to.
It's very important that an inspector is notified when the project is starting. The inspector should be there in the beginning, even before the painters get there, to familiarize themselves with the areas, with the projects. And then once that's done, then the inspector needs to come on site when the drywall finishing is being completed and to check his work as well as to check all other work with the painters, from prime, intermediate coat to final coat. And once that's done, we do a final inspection to identify all deficiencies that are on the project. Once we've done the final deficiencies, if necessary, we will come back and do another final to assure the owner that the deficiencies that were listed have been completed. It's very important to have the right product spec'd for the right job. And not only the products, but the type of products, the value of the products, if it's high end or low end. With the high end, you know you're going to get better finished surface with more durability, more scrubbability. So going forward, always contact us if you want to know what products is best for your projects. In closing, we would like to thank our following sponsors: Anlin Decorating, Polish Painters, Barjack Construction, Big Four Motors. If you would like more information about us, go to paintinspections.com. It tells you all about our values, our equipment that we use, contact page that you can contact us for any issues that may be arising within the industry that you are providing your architectural services, whether it's intumescent coatings, floor coatings, wall coatings, metals, and such. Thank you very much for allowing us to come into your boardroom and give our video presentation. As you can see in this video presentation, it was not scripted. This is real.